and light. And you know why the variegation is not so like normal? Is because it's a disease and the trend is trying to kill the disease.
It's not a disease, it's a genetic mutation. Guys,
if you had a genetic mutation, which you might.
Says you. Variegation is a genetic mutation, not a disease. Let's set the record straight. Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Peace, Love, and Happiness Club YouTube channel.
I'm Nathan.
And I'm Sasha.
Today we are working hard on our variegated cordatum mother plants. As you can see, there's quite a few nicely variegated trailing vines. However, up close towards the top, we've got a lot of deep green reverted leaves. So what we're doing today is chopping all of that green out, setting it aside, and then hopefully by chopping these plants back, the new growth will emerge much more variegated like we see here, which is what we are after.
So reversion naturally happens. It's when a variegated plant is producing a little bit more chlorophyll than it should, and then it turns back to green. It's totally healthy for your plant to cut those leaves off. If you don't want them, cut them off. I do that all the time. It really helps with new growth, and what you can do with those green leaves is you can actually turn them into nodes, and there's a slight chance that in high light they'll turn back to being variegated again.
I would say that's especially true for these variegated cordatum. I've done it with quite a few of them at this point, potting up those reverted nodes and then sticking them in lots of bright light. It's highly likely that you'll get the variegation back in those plants.
And I can see here that at the bottom of this stem, it's all reverted. So just cut it off. As simple as that. And I'm just gonna keep going until, it's only variegated leaves left.
Of course, the reverted leaves are still beautiful, although they're not variegated. So with these ones, we will probably root them up in our moss plugs and then just sell them as a green cordatum. And who knows, maybe one day, whoever buys one will have a nice surprise of some variegated leaves.
And you see these little aerial roots? If you just put them in water or even direct into soil in a very moist environment, it'll grow a new plant. Okay, because variegation is actually a genetic mutation, you can tell that there's a lot of variation inside of the leaves, so they're not all going to be the same. You can tell that this one has a half moon, where this leaf this side has produced a lot of chlorophyll and is all green, but then this side is kind of that white, beautiful camo-y pattern. But you can tell that it almost reverted, but then it decided to continue the variegation because it was in the proper conditions.
With some plants, they are just naturally variegated. Something like a Philodendron pink princess with that beautiful pink variegation. That variegation is pretty stable in the plant, whereas with something like these cordatum, it's a little bit less stable. The parts of the plant that are variegated don't actually photosynthesize. Providing your plant a little extra nutrition is gonna help maintain that variegation as well to sort of supplement the energy that it isn't getting from the sun.
So sometimes people freak out because they don't want their variegated plants to revert. If your plant does revert, just keep on growing it. It might be a few months, it might be a few years, it could be never, but odds are is that in the right conditions with a little extra light and a little extra fertilizer, the plant will go back to being variegated once again.
It happens all the time. People will come into the store, they'll say, my Monstera albo just put out a green leaf, what do I do? Hold off on chopping the plant back, let it put out maybe another 2 to 3 leaves and see if that variegation comes back. Another really good thing to look for when sort of predicting whether the new growth will be variegated or not is taking a look at the stem and seeing if the stem is variegated. The stem variegation is a little less pronounced on these cordatum, but on something like a Monstera albo, you would see like a thick white stripe, and that's going to be a really good indicator that the new growth will emerge variegated.
If you guys have any questions about variegation or any plant tips, just leave them in the comments, or you could always send us an Instagram DM. It's Peace, Love, and Happiness Club.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.
Stay variegated and peace out.
Peace out, you guys.